what's been happening here locally at the Santee YMCA, the Cameron YMCA. Now, this segment might be a little long. I've been kind of going through those last segments a little fast, so I'm going to slow it down a little bit. So that's the last segment of this podcast is for anybody that here lives in San Diego or near San Diego, or just has been following the Santee YMCA controversy lately. So I'm going to do a quick recap. About a month ago, or maybe a little bit more than a month ago, we had this teenager by the name of Rebecca who was exposed to a naked man in the locker room, in the women's locker room. This naked man, obviously, if you don't live under a rock, you can assume that this naked man identifies as a woman. So it's perfectly okay for this naked man to go in the women's locker room, right? So Rebecca, the 17-year-old teenage girl, went to the Santee YMCA, the Santee City Council, and raised awareness to this issue, and that went viral. It got national attention. I think even Tucker Carlson covered it. So after that happened, a lot of attention. After that happened, there was a couple rallies that I was in attendance with, one on a Wednesday evening and one the following Saturday afternoon, where we're just trying to raise public awareness to the fact that it is wrong for a naked man, regardless of how somebody feels, to go into a woman's bathroom. And at the end of this, I'm going to share with you my comments to the Santee City Council from February 8th, and then we'll wrap up the podcast with that. But to be clear, to say that a man should not go into a woman's bathroom, regardless of how somebody feels, that's not coming from a place of hatred, because we have to understand that feelings do not alter reality. We can acknowledge how somebody feels. We can acknowledge how, if a man feels as though he is a woman, right? I can acknowledge if you feel like you're a wolf. I don't care. I'm not gonna deny your feelings. But your feelings does not alter reality. Even if you feel as though you're a wolf, that doesn't make you a wolf. If you feel as though you're a woman, if you're a man, that doesn't make you a woman, right? Feelings do not alter reality, but I'm going to still acknowledge your feelings. Furthermore, I'm not going to assume that you're harmful or a danger to somebody. But this is what's happening here. We are altering reality so we don't offend people. We are altering realities to affirm somebody's feelings. And where is that going to lead us as a society? Are we going to start affirming people who identify as a child, adult men? Are we going to start affirming people who identify as a different race? Why not? If gender can be a social construct, why can't age be a social construct? Why can't race be a social construct? Let's just throw everything out the window. All the rules that we've been following since the dawn of humanity, let's just get rid of it. So I'm not saying anything hateful here. I'm not saying anything negative about somebody who identifies as a transgender individual. Right? There's solutions to this problem. If a man doesn't want to go into the man's facility because he feels as though a woman, well, then maybe the solution is private bathrooms or transgender bathrooms or something like that. But just because somebody feels as though he is a woman, it doesn't make him a woman, and he has no right to violate somebody's safety to go into a woman's bathroom. It's just wrong. It is wrong, and this is where we're at as a society. So that's what's happening. On February 8th was the second go-round at the Santee City Council. And what looks like is happening is that the Santee City Council is working with the YMCA, the Cameron YMCA. I think they're going to install private bathrooms and implement a no nudity policy in the locker rooms. So maybe that solves the issue. Maybe those private bathrooms, as I just mentioned a little while ago, solves the issue. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But regardless of what happens, we have to understand that we must remain grounded in truth, logic, and reality as a society if we're going to continue to function as a society. Sometimes I think of, I'm not a biblical scholar, but sometimes I think of, the Tower of Babylon, and how mankind sought to defy God's wisdom and build a tower high up to the heavens so they can go into heaven. And what did God do? He, how does it go? He changed their tongue, so everybody spoke a different language. So now there was so much confusion and they couldn't continue building the tower because they couldn't communicate with each other. What's going to happen when words start have more than one definition? When you can't even define the word woman? What's going to happen to society when that gets out of control? Where could this lead to? Where's the boundary? Are we going to, in a couple years or tomorrow or whatever, allow a man who is attracted to children, identifies as a minor attracted person, should that person go to 6th grade camp because they're attracted to children? Absolutely not. But we can get to there if we, the people, do nothing, if we continue to be passive, if we continue to sit back at home and not go to the city council meetings and not speak up and not get engaged and not go on social media and not have these necessary conversations, and if we choose to continue being silent and apathetic, that will happen. It will. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It will happen. People will try to identify, men will try to identify as a child and say they're trans youth or something like that. And real predators will prey on the vulnerable. It's time to get in the game. Remember, politics. You might not care about politics, but politics, they care about you. So let's go ahead and we haven't watched the 2 minutes. I'll just do that at the very, very end, and I'll close out that podcast with that. That is my plea to humanity. Get in the game. And it is time to unite the people so we can take our power back. If you like this message, give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. Without further ado, here is my 2 minutes to the Santee City Council from February 8th, and closing out this podcast at the end of that. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Hello. 2 weeks ago, I addressed the council, and I said that we must agree on basic fundamental truths if we are going to continue to function as a society. If we cannot, we will tread into an unprecedented and a potentially dangerous future. To be clear, I want to encourage everyone to acknowledge how someone feels. After all, that is Empathy 101. But it must be made clear that feelings do not alter reality. We can all acknowledge that a man feels as though he is a woman, but that does not make him a woman for the same reason that I am not a cat, even if I feel as though I'm a cat. Saying that a man who identifies as a woman should not be in the woman's bathroom is not coming from a place of hatred. I condemn those accusations. Rather, those accusations are disingenuous, filled with hate, and frankly harms the public good by spreading dangerous misinformation, as no one is saying that transgender people are harmful. That is another lie based in hate and deception. So here's the deal. As a society, we have two options. We remain grounded in truth, logic, and reality, or we bend reality in an effort to affirm feelings, pursue inclusivity, and equity. If we do that, we will undoubtedly allow actual predators to prey on the vulnerable, or even worse, allow pedophilia to demand acceptance in our society, because after all, if a man can identify as a woman based off feelings, why can't a man also identify as a child based off feelings? If gender can be a social construct, why can't age also be a social construct? I can only hope none of this happens here in Santee before the council decides to be brave and take a stance to preserve reality. The reality that men are men and women are women. Again, we either live in truth, logic, and reality, or we do not. In closing, I am calling upon the Santee City Council to encourage the Cameron YMCA to reverse its stance on their position, which allows men who refer to themselves as transgender to enter a woman's locker room. And if the YMCA does not, as unfortunate as this is, I am calling upon the council to terminate the lease with the Cameron YMCA, as keeping society grounded in reality, truth, and logic is more important than any service a YMCA can offer to any community. Thank you.
Next speaker I have is Tracy.